Frangie Show on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, welcome in another afternoon. The new drug today. I was going to say a new coast, but you're not new anymore. You're kind of like an old stand. You're like the bullpen guy. Hey, JJ, you know what hacker is? You know when the pitcher gets hurt and the bullpen guy gets as many warm-ups as he needed because he wasn't warmed up? That's kind of hacker, isn't he? When you say? Isn't that kind of hack?
Long reliever?
Long reliever, spot starter.
The Kent Merker of the Frangie Show.
Kent Merker of the Frangie. Well said.
Hey, I used to be into the Braves, man.
Yeah, you did. The Kent Merker of the Frangie Show. You're kind of that. You're a spot starter.
Yeah,
that's what you are. One of those bullpen games.
Charlie Weebrant.
You're a starter. Yeah,
sure.
That's what it is. So you're that. So how you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Fun weekend. Restful weekend.
Yeah.
Did not do a
thing. You didn't go no Disney, Vegas,
No.
Boston, Maine, Mexico, Russia, nowhere?
I hit the couch and I went to the grocery store. And
so
that was
the family's gone.
Family's gone for 2 weeks.
Yeah?
Yeah. Heidi can work remote and Forrest goes to see his grandparents. But basically, Heidi's entire family lives within like 20 miles of themselves in Maine. So he sees all his cousins and stuff up there. He has a great time. So
the old boys, Drew, all the old boys don't come over? You have a boys' night?
There might be something
night?
This week or this weekend, but last weekend that was not going to happen.
Okay, if it happens this weekend, am I invited?
Sure. I'll give you a call.
You and me and Drew have run together.
There's no doubt we have run together.
Okay, we have a memorable night.
We've run and we've ripped together. It was a lot of fun.
We had a very memorable. Hey, Jay, did you ever hear about our memorable night?
Oh, boy.
I haven't.
Okay, we had a memorable night. We were at a bowling alley.
I think it was much more memorable for Drew than it was for Frank and me. I don't remember that much of it, to be honest.
In what world were you hanging out with Hack's buddies?
Yeah, we were all there. It was a station.
It was
event.
a station event.
Oh, I see.
And we're at this bowling alley, and Hacker and I just went deep. Okay, Hacker and I just went deep.
Well, when you got a bunch of listeners there that are buying you everything under the sun, I mean, what are you supposed to do?
So I needed to get home. So Drew, Hacker's buddy, Drew, wasn't drinking, so he drove, and I needed a ride home. So, and Hacker and I was really deep, and Hacker and I were pretty deep. And what I remember is I've told Hacker this story. Hacker didn't see this part. They dropped me off in my driveway. Okay. I stumbled in.
I've signed a non-disclosure agreement about the ride to Frank's home.
Please keep that. I have no idea what was or wasn't said in the drive.
Yeah.
But I went in, and I hate even admitting this as a grown-up because it wasn't that many years ago. It was like 10, 12 years ago.
About a decade ago, yeah.
I drank so much, JJ. I walked in and sprayed the walls.
Oof. Jeez.
Oh, man.
I went to our kind of one of the bathrooms we have out there, kind of by the kitchen and the formal dining room. Walked in the bathroom, sprayed the walls. My wife, if she could have whipped my ass right then and there, but she was in between this, and I've told Hacker the story. I've told the story there. She was in between being disgusted, furious, and laughing.
Yeah.
She was trying not that. She was trying to be furious with me. But she was laughing so hard, and she had to clean it all up.
She might have felt sorry for
She had to clean it all up.
I passed out, bro. You know, when you're unconscious, your cleaning skills aren't quite as good. You know, so
that was
what was
a party,
the poison that night?
Yeah. So about everything.
Okay.
About every brown water, clear water.
I've known Frank Frangie
can't be mixing.
Dude, I've known Frangie for over 2 decades. I've seen him do shots very, very, very few occasions.
Yeah.
That night was one of them. I don't know what we were doing, but I remember there were small
What
glasses.
a celebration.
Yeah, it was. We had a great time. So tell Drew hello. And by the way, if you see Drew, tell him thanks again. Okay?
Will do. Will do.
All kind of fun stuff. Hayes Carline has the week off for vacation, a well-deserved vacation. Hopefully he enjoys that. Next week I'll be off, and Hayes will be in here, so poor Hacker is stuck with us again. But we got a lot of fun stuff. What a day to talk about sports. We'll get to kind of the lineup of the schedule coming up in just a bit. But all kind of stuff going on in the world of sports. I mean, I thought about this. I said, well, first of all, there's the Travis Hunter contract. That's what matters most to people around here. I said, well, I'm going to talk about that. Then the NBA Finals. God, I hated it for Halliburton.
Oh, awful.
I mean, and I'm not smart enough to know that he blew his Achilles when it happened. Did you know? Did y'all sense that?
I knew because of the replay. It looked just like Aaron Rodgers and Jason Tatum.
You did.
You could see the little bam, and you just kind of knew.
I feel like his reaction told me everything I needed to know. And like the broadcast was weirdly kept referring to his calf.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's not that.
So
There's no way that he's in that much pain from a calf that he's already had injured.
See, I didn't have that. You guys were obviously right. I didn't think that far. I thought he just hurt his calf again.
It's just been happening so much. I'm an expert now on Achilles.
No, I hear you. And I saw the anguish on his face, JJ. I took as heartbroken that he couldn't
Like
play in this game,
upset.
that he couldn't play in Game 7. It never dawned on me that he tore his Achilles and he's in awful pain. I just, you know what I mean?
And then when they showed him, I sort of thought that at first, but then they showed him going to the locker room and he couldn't put any weight on it.
It was Kevin Durant all over again.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant in the finals on the road trying to play through a calf injury, blows his Achilles out back in, what was that, 2019 for Golden State. And now here we are, Halliburton on the road, same thing.
Yeah.
You're never going to see NBA guys play with calf strains again.
Yeah.
You know, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. That's Durant and Halliburton to try to play through calf injuries that are now going to be gone for 12 months.
You know, it's a great point, Hack. And I didn't, again, shows you what I don't know, not know what I don't know. I never realized playing on a bad calf could endanger the Achilles. I just didn't realize that was the path, you know, and so it was. So, but yeah, I hated to see that. And then you kind of knew then. I mean, he started the game making 3 threes, so you kind of knew then that okay, now it's going to be hard. And no matter how much, and right away, and Richard Jefferson made the point. I agreed with him. It almost seemed like the Pacers had more energy right after that.
Right.
He made and I thought he was right. I even before he said that, I'm thinking they're playing, but you kind of knew it was then going to be hard. You know, so
they had the lead at the half.
Yeah.
I mean, they fought their ass off.
They really did. They
in that first half, and McConnell was just like insane what he's been doing the rest of the series, and they're just a great team, and they showed that in that game. And I mean, they should hang their heads high because they were absolutely phenomenal in the playoffs. And obviously, we'll remember OKC as being the champions, but you can't forget what Indiana has done in this playoffs. It was awesome to watch.
When Nebhard hit the 3 to put him up at the half, I wonder if he'll be the guy. You know, I wonder, you know what I mean? I wonder
he was great in this series.
I wonder if he'll be the guy in the second half because he hit the 3.
Right.
And so,
well, imagine being a Pacer fan. You're playing Game 7, trying to win your first NBA championship ever. Have they ever won a championship?
No.
I don't think they have.
The Pacers have not.
Yeah, so you're leading at halftime, and then you find out Halliburton's obviously going to be gone. So not only did you lose Game 7, but now you're going to be without your all-star for the entirety of next year with the torn Achilles. I mean, that is just awful.
Yeah, no,
awful.
You're right. So so a tough loss then. And I get I mean, here's what happened in the day. I'm going to get to all of this in the program today. I'm sure the other shows have done this. In addition to Travis Hunter, the good news, signing a phenomenal contract, and good for the Jags for paying it all up front. Yeah, I thought it was awesome. The finals end with heartbreak for Halliburton. Are you a golf fan?
I'm a Tommy Fleetwood fan, so I was hurting a little bit.
Are you a Fleetwood fan?
I am, because that guy leads like 54 holes into majors. He's been the leader like 4 or 5 times.
And look, I'm glad Keegan Bradley won, and I hope he does name himself now as a player, as not only just a captain on the Ryder Cup. Oh, he's now a playing captain, and I thought it was a great story, and he's from the area, and I loved it. And boy, he golfed his ball, man. That's the shot on 18.
Great shot.
Was magnificent. So this is not, and I saw him at USA, and I love the USA, so I get it. But my heart broke for Fleetwood because there's no other way to say it that the pressure got to him. Mm-hmm. The two putts on 18. There's no chance he makes putts that bad any other time. Any other setting.
Well, the fact that he had a 9-iron in his hand on the approach and then went to the wedge and then came up short, so he picked the wrong club to start with.
But correct. But the putt, Hack, the first putt, he rushed it, and the second putt, that's a putt he makes 9 out of 10 times.
Yeah,
you know, but anyway, so there's the heartbreak, the Halliburton heartbreak. This wasn't heartbreak in college baseball. JJ, did you see what happened in that game?
I mean, I know LSU won.
You know what happened, Hack?
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. How do you toss a manager in the first inning?
Yeah. the first inning, they tossed.
Which one?
The Coastal Carolina.
Oh, the losing manager.
The head coach got run in the first inning of the game.
25 pitches in.
Yeah, by Angel Campos, who got fired from Major League Baseball for being a hothead.
Wow.
He was a Major League
I didn't know that.
He was a Major League Baseball umpire.
Yeah.
Until 10 years ago. He's a good umpire. Now all of a sudden, So I mean, he can't, and there's no circumstances in which that's okay. Just so you know what happened, he missed some calls. The first base coach starts chirping. When the first base coach starts chirping, Campos warns him. The head coach comes out of the dugout and said, "What's that about?" And the Angel Campos, the home plate umpire, looked at him and said, I warned your coach about complaining balls. You can't can't argue balls and strikes, which everybody knows. I warned him. The head coach's response to that was, puts 3 fingers up in the air and goes, well, that's because you missed 3 straight calls. Ran him. Mm-hmm. That's what happened, JJ. The head coach
That's in the World Series?
Unless there's something we didn't know. But, I've read 10,000 stories about it now. He said, that's because you missed 3 straight calls. He ran him.
The umps in college, me being a professional who's watched it for like a week or two this year,
but you're right,
they're terrible, man. It's balls and strikes, safe outs, anything. They are just absolutely terrible. And the other thing that they have an issue with is they let these players get way out of hand with chirping back and forth, and because apparently there's no people don't beat each other in college. I guess I haven't seen anyone policing them the game or themselves like they do in Major League Baseball. So it's on the umps, I guess, to get a handle of that. And I have seen none of that. It's just nothing but showboating, throwing bats, and saying "F you" to the guy in the other team. And it's that's you don't see that in the majors because you get hit.
Right. Well, that's exactly right. So
there's no control whatsoever in these games by the umps.
So this Kevin Schnall, the head coach at Coastal Carolina, puts 3. He goes, that's because you missed 3 in a row, and he ran him. That was the umpire being a hothead. Mm-hmm. What a composed umpire does, at that point, he stops play, takes his mask off, says, Coach, now I've warned him. Now I'm warning you. Okay, I got your point. I heard your point about the 3 in a row. Now I'm going to tell you, it's only the first inning. We're in the national championship game. You're playing for the championship. You're playing for the national championship. I don't want to hear it again. Back to your dugout. Now, if it keeps on after that, then you can run it.
Right.
But the minute he put the 3 fingers up and said it, he ran him. And by the way, to Gator fans who follow this stuff closely, Kevin Schnall, the Coastal Carolina coach, is the one that called out Sully for acting like a jerk. Well, be careful. Be careful if you call it. So it was a mess. LSU, by the way, had the best team. LSU deserved the championship. This had nothing to do with LSU. They won convincingly, 1-0 in the first game and convincingly in the second game. 5-3 as it turned out. It was 5-1 at one point. So, but what a day! We got last night's play in the Thunder winning it and the Halliburton injury, the complete meltdown at the Travelers, a coach getting ejected in the first inning, and the Travis Hunter. That was all in one day.
Yeah.
That's a heck of a day of sports, wasn't it? My day, by the way, my wife's out of town with her sister for a couple of days. So kind of like you, my day, I wasn't on the couch. It was hot yesterday, by the way. I did a little landscaping for a while. I got up, went to church, got back from little church at 11, got back about 12:15, did a little landscaping, threw some rocks, decorated rocks around the hedges. I know you probably do that too, right?
Oh, yeah.
I did that.
Big time.
It was so hot. It was hot yesterday now, bro. It was hot. JJ, I got this chair that floats around the pool. Okay. I had 4 beers. It was a 4-beer limit for me. I wasn't going more than 4 beers.
Yeah.
Okay. So I broke it down 2 in the afternoon, 2 at night. I'll bet I sat in that chair in my pool. Had the Pirates game on, of course. I'll bet I sat in that chair for almost 3 hours.
Nice.
Almost 3 hours. If I didn't have to pee, I'd still be there. I'd still be. It was hot.
Well, that's what the pool's for.
It was.
That's Dan Hickens.
It was hot. Were you out and about at all yesterday, JJ?
I was in the pool all weekend, but no, I didn't do anything.
It was hot.
It was crazy. It's been insanely hot.
It was hot.
Well, I didn't do rocks around the hedges or anything, but I did have Roundup. Yeah. And I killed some weeds yesterday morning.
Oh, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
So you guys both don't have your wives around.
Yeah. No, I know.
What a paradise you guys live in.
Well,
jealous.
The best thing is to be able to tell the wife, what'd you do? You know what? I did a little landscape.
Yeah, did a little landscape.
I was working my ass off out there.
I got the brown river rock.
Took the garbage
use the river
out.
rock.
Yeah,
we do. And so did I. So there you go. All right.
The river rock.
I got a lot of things to talk to. Let's talk Travis Hunter. We'll take a break. Hacker's going to be here all week long. We sure appreciate that. JJ's here. I'm Frank Frangie. The significance of the Travis Hunter contract. That's how we'll start the program. It's 1010XL on a Best Bet Monday on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show. From the Harrell and Harrell studio, don't settle for less than you deserve.
Every day is a perfect day for football on Jacksonville's football station. Yeah! Just lock your radio on 1010XL to get your year-round football fix. 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
David Garrard here. I've had the PRP treatment from Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, and my knees are really doing well. Platelet-rich plasma treatment may be the answer for whatever is hurting you.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. My son had a meniscus surgery a couple years ago. When it's smooth as silk, Dr. Kevin Murphy did it. Was playing tennis in 2 weeks. This is Patrick Malarkey, and I highly recommend
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
If life blindsided you tomorrow, would your family struggle? I'm Cody with Harborstone Financial, and I can help. One call could protect your family for life. 904-885-9566. Harborstone Financial.
Attention business owners and property managers. Hurricane season is right around the corner. Is your property ready? Call the pros at Duck Duck Rooter for expert storm drain cleaning and hydrojetting. Our powerful VACCON truck clears the way so your drains flow freely when the rain hits. Call 904-862-6769 today to schedule your service and protect your property before the storms start rolling in. Duck Duck Rooter, your trusted name in storm drain maintenance. Visit us at duckduckrooter.com. We are a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
This is Joe C. from XL Primetime and stoked to crank up the 9 after 5 once again at the Golf Club of Southampton. Every Wednesday, a little after 5, the gang at Southampton will be hosting us with a new game, and I'm inviting you to be a part of it. Now, through the summer stretch, break up the week with a little hump day fun every Wednesday. Call 287-PLAY to get on the tee sheet. There'll be food afterwards and prizes, including playing for a membership at the Golf Club of Southampton. Call 287-PLAY and hit the tee with Joe C.
This is Hayes Carline from my friend Holt at Harrell & Harrell. There doesn't seem to be enough time in the day to get everything done. Then you get injured in an accident and you don't know what you're going to do. Let Harrell & Harrell make it easy for you. Easy on becoming a client. You can just text or email if you want. Easy on finding a doctor and getting through the process. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you're ever injured, call Harrell & Harrell and make it easy on yourself. Call them at 904-251-1111. That's 251-1111.
Living on Amelia Island, having fun in Fernandina Beach? No matter what brings you to the fun, cozy town, make sure you check out the tap room at Mocama Beer Company. With a full flight of craft creations, from the Cosmico IPA to the Motor, the perfect Pilsners and Lagers, matching memories and some Mocama magic is what it's all about. Mocama Beer Company in Fernandina Beach, near the big water where the sun is born. And look for more Mocama craft at your local Total Wine or ABC Liquors.
1010XL is the home of Gator Nation and the Gator Bites podcast presented by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. I'm Hacker, and we keep you connected with the University of Florida all year long. Get Gator Bites where you find podcasts.
Are you ready to play this summer? At the First Coast YMCA, we're committed to being your home for health and wellness and a place for friendly competition with team sports for adults and for kids. Basketball, volleyball, pickleball, flag football, soccer. The Y has something for everyone at any age. Discover all the benefits of YMCA membership and find your fun this summer at the Y. Registration for team sports and summer camps is open now. Visit fcymca.org.
We went to probably 4 or 5 jewelry stores.
Jacksonville's Mitch Vandal went to the town center looking for an engagement ring, but found the big box corporate jewelry experience wasn't for him.
Nobody's really helping us. One of the stores, some people walked in behind us and they were offered beer and champagne, and I'm wearing shorts and a cutoff, so I don't really look the part. So I was like, well, I guess we'll go somewhere else. I don't know if they think we can afford to shop here or what.
So he went across and discovered locally owned Beards Diamonds.
When I walked in, everybody just said, hey, welcome in, welcome to Beards.
Mitch loved the service and attention he got at Beards and ended up with a bigger, better quality diamond.
It was about twice the size of what I thought I could afford, and it was also about twice the size of what my wife thought she wanted.
Today, Mitch tells all his friends, shop local, shop Beards.
You're going to get the best deal on the best diamond.
Unbeatable value, unmatched selection, uncompromising personal service.
Anybody that I know, I want them to shop at Beards.
Beards Diamonds, St. John's Town Center.
Frank Frangie here for Coil Fencing. Jacksonville's full of memorable sports moments. Remember Tiger Woods' 60-foot putt on the iconic 17th? Gary Coate called it better than most. Better than most. Well, Coil Fencing is better than most. They're better than all. Coil has been that for nearly 100 years. So if you're in the market for a new fence, I recommend calling Coil & Sons today. That's at 904-356-4821 or visit coiljacks.com. That's COYLE Jacks.com.
Hi folks, Jason Parker here with Performance Painting. Ever wonder what to do with leftover paint that you don't want? Here's a few options. Paint can be placed in the regular trash if it's dry. Simply stir in kitty litter to a thick consistency. Then wait a few days with the lid off till it dries. Also, if the paint is good, there's many charities or churches that would love to have it. If you'd like more tips or have a project, we'd love to help. Go to performance-painting.com. Performance Painting. Repair, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting.
If your ride is making strange noises, don't wait and make it work. Come to Action Transmission on Merrill Road. My expert technicians can diagnose the problem and likely fix it fast. Experience the difference at Action Transmission on Merrill Road.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Best Bet Monday on The Frangie Show with fantastic locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and now in St. Augustine. It's Best Bet.
Well, we thank our friends of the Best Bet. Happening right now at Best Bet St. Augustine. Get ready to ride off on a 2025 Yamaha Wave Runner. From now through August 8th, every hour of poker and table game play earns entries to the grand prize drawing, and that's on August 9th. So you want that beautiful, beautiful Yamaha Wave Runner? Well, guess what? Head to Best Bet St. Augustine right now. There's 3 great locations. You know that. St. Augustine is off I-95. The Monument Road location is Jacksonville's location. It's fantastic. Big, beautiful, clean, healthy, fun place, just like the Orange Park location on US 17. So head to the Best Bet. Love my friends at the Best Bet. Best Bet's been a sponsor of this program for a long time, and we sure do appreciate them. Always the Best Bet Monday around here. You probably know by now, but the Jags signed number 2 overall pick, Travis Hunter, to his rookie deal. It's a 4-year deal worth $46,649,114. It's a $46 million deal. Okay. Of that, $30 million is the signing bonus, all up front. Got all the money up front.
Yeah.
Okay. Which is somewhat unusual. What it is, and I think it is bold, it is committed, and it is further assurance in their, whether they're right or not, we'll find that out. I think they are. We'll see. But I will say this, and I thought this the first time and again, how many times have we all talked to Baselli about this, even off the record, on the record? We all know Tony really well. We're all close friends with Tony. But I will say this. The minute he started getting engaged, okay, the way it worked is, you know the drill by now, that they fired Doug Peterson, then they fired Balky, then they hired Liam, then they brought in Tony, then together they all went and got James Gladstone. But the one thing that stood out was how bold and aggressive they were going to be. That was very clear. They were going to be bold and aggressive. If they were going to strike out, it was going to be swinging for the fences. If they were going to throw an incomplete pass, it was going to be an 80-yard bomb that the guy didn't catch. Okay? That's how they were. If they were going to get knocked out, if they were going to be swinging from their heels and someone was going to catch them on the jaw, they weren't going to be playing. They weren't going to be covering up and clinching and trying to get through 12 rounds. The Jags were going all in, and they were swinging for the fences. Okay, I've used about every sports cliche I can think of. You get the point. They were really committed to this, and that's what this says to me. Yeah, we're going to give you the whole signing bonus up front. We're going to give you a big-ass contract. We're going to play you both ways, and we're going to try and win the freaking Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. And I really – now, again, we'll see if it works. I like where they are. But none of us are naive enough to say, okay, this is going to work, that's going to work, that's going to work. But I will say this, and if you're a ticket buyer, man, if you want your team – you know what they are in the offseason? They're a team that's going for it on 4th down. That's what this is. This is a team that isn't afraid – and there's a boldness to their moves. I really believe that. I'm not trying to be corny or cliche. I'm really, really not. Sometimes talk show hosts, we start saying these things, we fall. You know what I mean? How you fall into these cliches. I'm trying not to do that. I love how bold they are, and that's what this is. One more. I love this. It's one more thing that tells me they are.
I always talk about May, June, July, and August are the months of hope for pretty much every NFL fan base. Because every NFL fan base, you can close your eyes and imagine hoisting that Lombardi trophy in January. But reality strikes you in the face in September, and it certainly struck Jacksonville in the face last year at 0-4. I don't know if it's the months of hope here in Jacksonville. I think it's the months of different. It is so different here than what we've experienced in years past to what you're talking about with all the newness and all the moves that have been made. This team would not look anything like this have Doug Peterson and Trent Baalke still be in charge. And look, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just a different philosophy, different groupthink. With the Travis Hunter situation, it's interesting because it's a slotting system with the number 2 overall pick. I saw a lot of people asking me, and I had people asking me on different interviews I did around the country, one in Kansas City as recently as last Thursday, is it going to be an issue because he's going to play on both sides of the ball? Well, it's a slotting system for his rookie deal. I think that question will be answered in 4 years if he becomes, a Pro Bowl caliber wide receiver and defensive back. Well, how do you handle that contract if he's doing wonderful things at 2 different positions? That's not possible right now. But that goes into what you're saying. $30 million up front tells Travis Hunter, tells Jaguar fans, the organization is committed to him. They're committed to him doing fantastic things. I'm happy it's in the books. I'm happy we won't be asked about it anymore. And I'm happy he's signed and ready to go.
Here's what I'll take. Let's see if I can make this analogy. It may sound corny, but it's what I think. And it's 2 operations with whom I'm very close, so I can compare them to each other. The Jaguar, and I like Doug Peterson. Doug and I got to be very good friends. I think the world of him. I didn't want to see him get fired. I was rooting for him, but they moved on. They moved on from Baalke. They moved on from Doug. But the NFL is a league where you do things the way the NFL does it. Everybody runs the same offense and the same defense. They really kind of do. I mean, you think about it. No one's running, no one ran RPO until everybody did, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
employers will even tell you that. It's just different verbiage.
That's right. So everybody, the NFL, and you draft this certain player, and you certainly don't trade next year's draft pick, and you don't do this, and you don't do that, and you don't go get this guy, and you don't put this guy. There's a certain way the NFL does things. Your GM has always got to be a guy. Your EVP has got to be a guy that used to be a GM. You know what I mean? There's a certain way you do things. Until someone says, screw it, we're going to be bold and do it different.
Mm-hmm.
My comparison is when Florida hired Steve Spurrier as its football coach. Forever, Florida had played like everybody else in the SEC. They ran the I formation, right? Toss sweep Emmett, toss sweep to Neil Anderson, play good defense, have a bunch of NFL guys on defense, try and win 8 or 9 games, right? I mean, you know that. I mean, you're old enough to remember 70s, 80s Gators. You didn't. When were you born? What year?
83.
We're not 70s Gators, so you were a little kid in the 80s. But you know what happened.
Yeah.
You know what they were. They were toss it to Emmett, toss it to Neil Anderson, and win 8 games. That's what they were.
Sure.
That's who they were. Play fake and throw it to Ricky Nattiel. You know what? Because that's what everybody else in the SEC did. And then in 1990, they go hire this guy Spurrier, and he says, we're not doing any of that. We're going to throw the ball over the park. We're going to go for it on 4th down. We're going to chirp a little bit at our opponents. We're going to be bold and aggressive in everything we do, and we're going to be different. And we're going to be different and bold. If there's one thing Steve Spurrier was when he got that damn job in 1990, he was different and bold. Well, that's what these guys are doing.
Mm-hmm.
This is to me, we'll see if it works as well. Florida had never won an SEC title in 58 years, and Spurrier won 5 in his first 7 years. So, I mean, it was a little different, right? But we'll see if it works as well. But when they went and got him, it was a change. It was rather than do the same thing everybody else does, and oh, by the way, not doing it as well as everybody else is because they didn't win the SEC title in all those years. They did the same thing Georgia and Alabama and Auburn and Tennessee did. Those teams just did it better than them, right? So they go get this guy Spurrier, and he comes in there, and all of a sudden he said, we're not doing that. We're throwing it. We're doing this. We're throwing post corner. We're throwing hits. We're throwing a little Mills route. We're going here. We're going to throw it every down. We're going to teach our quarterbacks how to throw. We're going to be a passing team. We're going to drive people crazy. We're going to win a bunch of championships. And they did. But it was different and bold. And we're not talking about play calling here. We're talking, I mean, with the Jags, because they can't call any plays yet. But the way you don't trade up for the number 2 guy that's not a quarterback. You don't trade your 2nd round pick and your next year's 1st round pick. Unless you're bold, you say, screw it, that's what we're going to do. Mm-hmm. That's the analogy to me. We'll see if it works as famously.
No, I completely agree. And I go back to what James Gladstone, who he learned under. He learned under Wes Snead. I mean, the Rams went 8 years without a 1st-round pick. I mean, they traded 2 to us for Jalen Ramsey. So when you learn something like that, you tend to follow things like that. And whether you call it blank those picks or whatever you call it, it is bold. It is a great way to do things if it works. Now, if it doesn't work, here's my thing with the trade. And I have people telling me this still about the Travis Hunter trade, even yesterday after he signed his contract. Yeah, but what if your pick's a top 10 pick? Well, if the pick's a top 10 pick next year, then Cleveland wins the trade, right? If the Cleveland Browns pick 4th in the draft because they own the Jaguars selection, the Jaguars had a terrible year, Cleveland gets a top 5 pick, the Browns win the trade. On the flip side of that, what if Jacksonville wins a terrible AFC South? And all of a sudden that pick is 25 or 26 or 27. Well, then Jacksonville overwhelmingly wins the trade. We're not going to have any idea who wins that trade until January when you find out the final win-loss record for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And if they're 8-9 or 9-8 or anything better than that, no one in this city is going to care that they traded the first-round pick in 2026.
Well, and I totally agree with that. And again, they're bold. And I think one other thing, Hack, I think it's a precursor to how they're going to be. Will Liam Cohen call plays and run the football operations in as bold a manner as James Gladstone is drafted, and as Tony Boselli has kind of laid the groundwork, and how they've? I kind of think so. No, we don't know. I mean, I know how good Kentucky was when he was calling the plays. I know how good Tampa Bay was last year when he was calling the plays, but I can't tell you I know the tenor of his play calling. Mm-hmm. I'd be lying if I said, well, he tends to do this. I haven't watched close enough. I'm not going to lie about it. I'm excited to see, but I haven't watched close enough to know all that. But I just, the boldness of doing it differently than other people do it and not caring. I can tell you this, back to the Spurrier comparison. I'll never forget. I know where I was sitting, where he was sitting when Steve Spurrier and I were talking about, because he used to go for it on 4th down. He used to do things, and I'll never forget. I said, it was not in a media setting. It was kind of in a beer drinking setting. It was in Birmingham, and anyway, whatever. It doesn't matter what it was. But I was kind of joking with him. So you do stuff people don't really do, bro. He goes, I'll tell you one thing, Frank. I will never not do something for fear of being crucified if it fails. If I don't do it, it's because I didn't think it was worth. But I will never not do something for fear that people are going to crucify me if it doesn't work. I'll never forget. Sometimes you know where you were sitting when someone said something to you? I know where I was sitting when Steve Spurrier looked me in the eye and said that to me. Well, I promise you, if you go trade your 2nd-round pick and next year's 1st-rounder for a non-quarterback at the 2nd overall pick, you're damn sure not afraid of being crucified if it fails. And I freaking love that about the way they go about their business.
And Gladstone said that as much in his opening press conference. We're going to be bold. And I'll give you another one. I said it. I'm guilty of it as well. What did we say about Gabe Davis? He costs too much to cut. You're going to have to keep him here. Whether he's going to contribute or not, you got to keep him here because you can't move that contract. Well, obviously, James Gladstone didn't care. And they're eating an awful lot of money, an awful lot of dead cap. But he, waived Gabe Davis when everybody thought that wasn't the thing to do. But again, that goes back into being bold and being different. Gladstone goes to the beat of his own horn.
Jaguars have signed Travis Hunter, signed, sealed, and delivered. By the way, what's your get on how he plays, how much he plays, where he plays?
I think he's going to be...
We had this conversation. I know Hayes and I talk about it all the time. You and I had this conversation.
I don't think we've had this conversation on air. I think Hunter's your starting number 2 wide receiver opposite Brian Thomas. I think it's going to be 15, 20 snaps on defense would be my assumption at this point.
See, I had said all along that what you said, principal part of the offense, part of the 3-man rotation, catch a bunch of balls, and then play defense on the get off the field downs, 3rd down, 4th down, red zone downs, late in the game downs, late in the half downs. But Pete Prisco, who's pretty good, and I've said that all along, he seems to think it's going to be more defense than anybody thinks. He said that on our show Friday. He seems to think, everybody thinks it's going to be sort of the rotation that you and I just suggested, lots of offense, defense when they need him. He thinks not necessarily. He thinks it's going to be more even. He thinks you're going to see him more on defense than you would expect. So I'll be interested. And in fairness to the Jags, I'm not sure they know yet. You got to see how much you can load. I told someone you have to see how much you can handle. We can handle anything. Well, he's a human being.
Yeah.
I don't care who. And by the way, that dude never gets tired. That seems to be what everyone talks about. He could go run a marathon. But everybody gets tired at some point. And so where are you? Not how many snaps can you play. It's not how many snaps can you physically handle. It's how many snaps can you physically handle and still be at your best with 4 minutes left in the game. That's the question for anybody.
And I guess I look at it like this, Frank. If you take Travis Hunter out of the equation, wide receiver depth chart, defensive back depth chart, what do you feel better about? If you take Travis Hunter out, you got Brian Thomas Jr., De'Ami Brown, Parker Washington. Compare that to Tyson Campbell, Jarian Jones, Jordan Lewis. I would probably feel better about the DB room without Hunter than I would about the wide receiver room. That's why, to me, I hope that he plays more wide receiver than DB.
It'll be interesting to see. Let's take a break. Let's get into some basketball. What a finish in the NBA. A 7-game series that was worth every dollar that you paid to go watch it or every moment you invested watching it on TV. We'll kind of wrap up the season after this.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Hayes Carline for Atlantic Infinity. If you're shopping for a new ride, you've got to check out Atlantic Infinity. Not only do you get a luxury vehicle, you also get the Atlantic Infinity Promise free with every new car. That's almost $2,500 in added value just for buying smarter. And you don't have to sweat it out on the lot. Shop in their indoor, climate-controlled showroom. It's cool, comfortable, and hassle-free. They're on Atlantic near St. John's Bluff, or browse anytime at AtlanticInfinity.com.
Now, another classic moment in Jags history.
There he goes, Jimmy Smith. No flags. Touchdown, Jacksonville. 70 yards.
1010XL, home of the Jaguars.
Bueller, stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, pal. Pretty nice weather we're having, huh?
You think this is nice?
I mean, it's sunny, warm. We do live in Florida.
It's not all upside, Jason. Warm weather comes, so all the cool people hit the beach. My old air conditioner craps out, so it's 1,000 degrees inside, and I'm stuck on a video call in my underpants trying not to sweat through my...
Wait. Put these sunglasses on.
I'm not going to put on your...
Whoa. The air conditioning experts at Bueller Air and Plumbing can keep your home office cool and comfortable all summer long. You look good in your meeting, impress the big guy with your cool confidence, maybe finally make assistant deputy regional manager.
Wow, air conditioning can do that?
Life moves pretty fast. If you spend all summer worried the weather is going to be too nice, you could miss it.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Frank Frangie here for my friend and insurance agent, Craig Dewhurst. Craig has been helping families on the First Coast with their insurance needs for 25 years as your good neighbor and local State Farm agent. Now's a great time to review your insurance policies, whether you need auto, homeowners, or renter's insurance, or insurance for your golf cart, boat, or jet skis. Craig handles all of my family's insurance needs, and even better, he gives back to the community. Call Craig today at 904-940-9740. That's 904-940-9740.
Want your son or daughter to enjoy sports year-round? Then log on to i9sports.com with summer and fall registration open right now, including girls volleyball at Duval Charter Bay Meadows, plus plenty of other spots and sports on the First Coast. i9sports.com. Enter 1010 for a discount.
Attention skilled electricians. Are you undervalued at your current company? Time to step up to the bigger projects and better opportunities. Join the team at Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering not just a job, but an experienced, top-notch pay, unbeatable benefits, and the best working environments in the business. Please join the team that values your skills and rewards your hard work. Elevate your career to new heights. Apply today at millercareers.com, an equal opportunity employer.
When the unexpected happens, you shouldn't have to face it alone. I'm Chris Campione, and at Campione Law, we're here to fight for you. Whether it's an auto accident or a slip and fall, our Jacksonville team takes care of every detail, from investigating the incident to securing multi-million-dollar verdicts, so you can focus on getting better. And remember, you don't pay a dime unless we win your case. Our commitment is 24/7, bringing you the real support from real people who really care. Campione Law, your dedicated partners in justice. Visit CampioneLaw.com.
Count on Campione Law.
At IHRS, we're passionate about solving your hair loss. We're clients too. With the latest hair transplant technology, FDA-approved laser hair therapy, and PRP, we guarantee solutions for both men and women. Call now for a free consultation and receive $250 off. Hair restoration is for me, and it can be for you too. Go to hairforme.com or call 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477.
The rumors and trades.
That is the game within the game.
The decisions and deadlines.
Our work is not done now.
The off-season overflows with surprising storylines.
I'm all ears.
Let AA Automotive and 1010XL guide you through the off-season.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler with a beautiful selection of fine jewelry and certified diamonds. For we're also Jacksonville's leading buyer of gold, silver, and diamonds from the public. Gold's recently hit an all-time high at over $3,000 per ounce. Pay bills, buy something fun. Now is the time to sell your gold for cash and get top dollar, or trade it in for a new piece and get even more at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Firehouse Subs has fries. Your hometown hero since '94 just cranked up the heat. Hot subs, crispy fries, golden, pillowy on the inside, and perfectly seasoned. Over 30 Jacksonville locations. Firehouse Subs, homegrown and now with fries.
Are you an experienced chiller technician and looking for a role where your skills are truly valued? It's time to make the move to Local 234, plumbers, pipe fitters, and HVAC technicians. You'll get top pay, comprehensive health and welfare benefits for your family, and a pension that doesn't come out of your pocket. Join the team that's got your back. Local 234, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit UA234.com to send your resume today.
Equal opportunity employer.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. 1010
Take.
The 1010 Take is brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck, duckduckrooter.com. I'm convinced now that size, for the most part, no longer matters in the NBA. I never thought I'd say that. The greatest NBA players I saw in my lifetime, other than Jordan and Magic and Bird, of course, were Russell and Chamberlain and Shaq and go on and on and on, Willis Reed and Patrick Ewing. I watched last night as the Oklahoma City Thunder played a bunch of 6'5" guys together. At one point, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was the tallest guy on the floor for the Thunder at 6'6". Jalen Williams at 6'5" was playing the 5, and it didn't matter. The game's more free-flowing. The game is played in space. The game is played with shooting. Nobody throws it inside to a big guy with his back to the basket anymore. And the team that has the most guys like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Jalen Williams is generally going to win the championship. A year ago, Jason Tatum and Brown were the best guys that played like that. You know what? They won the championship. That's where the game has gone. I'm not sure I love it, but it's certainly a different NBA, and that is the 10-10 Take. Frangie and Hacker with you, JJ LaSelva as well. Did you notice that? Did you notice it last night for a stretch there? Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the 6'6" point guard of the Oklahoma City Thunder, was the tallest player they had on the court. Jalen Williams is 6'5". Dort is 6'4". I'm trying to think who else they had on the
Caruso.
Caruso wasn't on the floor at the time. But I'm telling you, they didn't have Hacker. The tallest guy they had was 6'6" on the floor.
Yeah.
And it was Dort, Williams, Kaysen,
he played really
Kaysen
well.
Wallace. He's 6'4". Kaysen Wallace. Anyway.
TJ O'Connell's going to have nightmares about him.
But my point is, it's a different game.
Yeah.
It's a different game. Size no longer dictates the NBA. And that is a massive, massive change.
And if you're a big man in the NBA, you better be able to shoot. I mean, how many true big men are there in the NBA that can't shoot 20-foot jump shots?
Right.
Very, very few.
No, that's where the game's going.
That's the way the game is. You have to be able to shoot in the league, and that's why, I love, like, the days of Tyler Hansborough and guys like that. They couldn't survive in today's NBA because they couldn't shoot.
Right.
And Hansborough, obviously, you see his career wasn't very good when he got to the league. The Indiana Pacers, see, I wonder, Frank, Oklahoma City's the champion, and to the victors go the spoils. But I do wonder if we're having this conversation 5 years down the road, who knows if we are, but stay with me here. Is this Oklahoma City's moment, or are we going to remember Game 7 as the game Halliburton got hurt?
Yeah, it's a great question. That's a great question. For me, I think because Oklahoma City had such a great season, because they had the MVP of everything, I will remember that more than it's a great question. I hear you. I will remember that more than the injury because I think it was the year of the Thunder. If it had been two evenly matched teams with evenly matched seasons, you know what I mean? Then and I would have expected the Pacers to win. And if you would have expected the Pacers to win until Halliburton got hurt, then you might remember it that way. I think because the Thunder were the prohibitive favorites throughout the playoffs. I'll remember this. Great question. What about you?
The crazy thing, I think, unfortunately, I'll remember it because of Halliburton, and I'll tell you why. He had such a historic playoff run. The game winner to eliminate Giannis and the Bucks in round 1. Beating Cleveland at the buzzer in game 2. Going into the Garden and doing the choke sign. Reggie Miller-esque 30 years after. Having a game winner in game 1 of the finals. I mean, Tyrese Halliburton, if he would not have gotten injured last night and they would have won, you could have legitimately argued it was one of the greatest postseason single performances that anybody's ever had. I'm talking about LeBron, Michael, anybody, just because of the game winners and the moments and everything that Halliburton had. But the fact that he blew out his Achilles in game 7 on that stage, just completely taking the air out of the building, just sucks, man. And unfortunately, I think I'm going to remember it because of that injury.
Yeah, I'll say this. For me, at least, I don't know that I hated the injury for him. I hated it. But because he's 2 games removed from a really bad game. Yeah. And now he's hurt. But so I think if he was a more prominent player throughout his career, even in the season, you're right, it was an amazing postseason run for Halliburton. So maybe it'll be interesting. What about you, JJ? What will you remember most?
Definitely the injury.
Yeah.
And it was like at the beginning of the game, and I'm by the TV. It's pretty close. Both teams were playing really well. It's only 5 minutes in, and you're just like, well, that sucks. Well, I immediately went to my betting app and put money on OKC to cover 10.
Yeah.
And then at halftime, they were still like 5-point underdogs. Even, they were down 1 or 5-point favorites. I'm like, I'll double dip here.
Yeah.
So I definitely will remember, unfortunately, him just writhing in pain on the ground, because it was clear, like, I don't care that they're up at half. They're going to lose this freaking game. Like, that's how the Thunder play you. They wear you down on defense towards the end of the game. You just have no hope. And that's what happened. And without Halliburton, I just knew that there's no way they're going to win this game.
People talk about the Thunder, maybe Frank starting a dynasty here. You realize the last 7 years in the NBA, they've had 7 different champions.
Well, and JJ and I have had that talk in Hayes about, okay, does the run start for the Bucks? Does the run start for the Celtics? Does the run start we've had
Nuggets?
Does the run start for the Nuggets? We've had that talk every year because that's kind of where I'm going with the topic. So now the question is about the Thunder. Now, they were dominant throughout the season, but right now, is SGA the best player in the league?
Yeah, he's in the conversation.
JJ's the best player in the league? He's not.
It's Jokic for me.
See, and JJ and I
had the best season.
JJ and I have kind of agreed that Nikola Jokic is probably the best player. I've agreed with you on that, JJ, that he's probably the best player because he's unstoppable. But SGA was so good this year. I remember 2 years ago we were asking, is Giannis the best player in the league? I mean, he was unstoppable, And before that, it was the LeBron, Steph era, so it had to be one of them. And Durant in there a little bit, but I
just think Jokic just had a good 4 years of just being so dominant, and his surrounding cast sucked this year. For him to even get to a game 7 against this OKC was all on his shoulders. I feel like SGA, they got a great team around him.
Well, and I guess they do, but it's not a lot of named guys. Holmgren was drafted high. But that's about it in terms of guys that had any presence before they were on this team.
Jalen Williams is about to get paid.
You better believe.
Oh yeah, they're all drafted from OKC.
But nobody
besides
knew,
SGA.
Nobody knew Jalen Williams until recently.
Oh, agreed.
And Holmgren, you knew him at Gonzaga. You knew he was going to be drafted high. So my point is, I'm not saying SGA is the best player in the league, but I wonder if this continues. Now remember, none of those teams repeated. To your point, Hack, none of them repeated. Well, what if they do? And what if he wins the MVP again?
Mm-hmm.
And what if he wins the Finals MVP again? I'll say this. And again, you guys watch the league. RJ and UJJ and Hack, you guys watch it. I don't watch it. I don't pretend to watch it. I got other stuff. I watch here and there, and then when the playoffs start, I watch a little bit more every round. I had no idea he was that good. I know. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's a really good player.
And he didn't even have a great finals, really.
No, he didn't, but you could tell.
He's phenomenal. And when they needed a basket most in game 4, he scored what was it, 15 points in the last 5 minutes or something.
And he's got all the He's got all the Jordan Drexler.
He's old school.
Yeah, he's
the 16-foot jump shot, man.
Mid-range.
He's got the mid-range game. He's lightning quick off the dribble. He can make threes if he has to.
Great passes last night.
Yeah. I mean, he's got all that stuff.
He averaged like 2 steals and 2 blocks a game too. He's just awesome.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not. He's no one's Jordan, but as far as playing style, he's the same exact size. So as far as playing style, and remember we watched Drexler and we watched Vince Carter, and there's a bunch of guys that came along that were the same size and had the same playing style, and we wondered, is that this guy's got as much. So, and by the way, let me stop that. The guy who had that more than anybody else was Kobe. The guy that was Jordan without being Jordan more than anybody else will ever know was Kobe. He was that. But other than Kobe, this guy's got as much of that stuff, that style as anybody I've seen.
And people forget he was a Los Angeles Clipper. He was a throw-in in the Paul George trade.
Yeah.
Then come to Oklahoma City, and now he's an MVP and a Finals MVP. I felt bad last night even thinking about this. As Halliburton laid there on the floor, and it was fairly obvious what it was, and then I thought to Dame Lillard in Milwaukee and Tatum in Boston, all 3 of those guys are not going to play in 25-26. I mean, the Eastern Conference next year is wide flipping open. And for a guy like me that's an Orlando Magic fan, we just made that trade for Desmond Bane with Banchero and Wagner and Jalen Suggs. I think the West will be run by Oklahoma City to an extent. The East, who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, Boston, Indiana, and Milwaukee are already going into next year knowing one of their 2 best players on each of their teams is likely going to miss the entire season.
I will, and maybe it's a question for my buddy Kevin Kaplan next time I drag him in here. But I really do wonder. We always ask this anytime something starts happening on a regular basis, right? Why now are so many players
Popping Achilles. Yeah.
It used to be like an old guy thing only.
Yeah.
Well, Kobe did it, and Durant. I mean, the first one I can remember of like the last decade or so was Kobe's, and then it happened to Durant, and now it's just happening prominently over and over and over. I think the answer, Frank, again, I'm not going to be confused for a medically trained guy, but good grief, man, they're playing 110 games.
Yeah, but
they're also freak athletes. The violence and the movements now. I mean, maybe I don't want to call out the guys from the 70s and 80s or anything, but it's got to be the best that it's ever been athletically wise. The league, all these guys can jump and run, and they're incredibly fast, and their movements are so aggressive, and that's got to be something to do with it. And like Hack said earlier, the calf, man, that has to have played some part in this injury.
Well, we know that. I mean, and you're right, JJ. I think I don't care what sport it is. Guys hit baseballs further. Guys hit harder in football. That's why the rules had to all be changed. They're bigger. Bigger people are bigger and move faster. And it translates into basketball that they're swifter and more dynamic and more explosive. And I get that, but it just seems this is the one. Look. My rant, Hacker, you may not because you don't sit here with us, but JJ's heard enough. He's probably tired of it. Hayes, too. My rant is we have to do something about pitchers. We can't keep blowing arms.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, I'll tell you this. JJ, who's the guy for the Brewers now, the 6'7" guy that nobody can hit? The guy that just came up?
Oh, he was like perfect. I don't know his name.
Have you followed this?
I vaguely know who you're talking about.
Shame on me for not having his name here, but he's 6'7".
Jacob Mizorowski.
Yeah, Mizorowski. He throws 11 perfect innings, 11 no-hit innings.
Okay? Yeah, right.
He hits 102 like 20 times in a game. Okay? Well,
he's going to get Tommy John?
There's no question. That UCL is as much as torn now.
By the way, I heard an interview.
Has to.
Yeah, I heard an interview with Kurt Schilling. And, I mean, think whatever you want about him as a person, but he was just talking about pitching, and it was phenomenal. It was from this weekend, and he was saying what you always say, like, we got to teach these guys how to start pitching, man. Like, you can't – they're going all out on every single at-bat. Like, you can't do that. There's no wonder these guys' arms are just being destroyed at a young age. It's just – not how you should be learning how to throw and
100%. And there's no doubt in my mind this guy Jacob Mizorowski, You're going to see the Tommy John.
You might as well have it scheduled already.
I'm telling you, you might as well have it scheduled already. It's exactly right. But anyway, back to Gilgeous-Alexander. It'll be very interesting to see as the years go on. Does he evolve into the next Jordan, Kobe, whatever, or is this his one moment in the sun, and then he's just really good but not dominant? He's going to be really good. We know that part. He's a really good player.
His floor is all-star.
That's right.
Mike White had him for a cup of coffee in Gainesville.
Yeah, that's a great story. Mike White, he was a 2-star.
Yeah.
He was a 2-star recruit. Nobody knew anything about him. White offers him, okay, and he says, I'll come to the SEC. As a 2-star recruit, he was coming to Florida. Then he goes through the Adidas circuit, the AAU circuit, and blows up into a 5-star. And Kentucky comes along, and, well, I'm sorry, Mike White, but Kentucky just called.
Of course they did.
Yeah, so, and after that, but it's an interesting story. Let's take a break. We got a lot more to talk about. I want to get into a little bit into the golf. I just, watching the golf and watching Tommy Fleetwood, man, oh man, it was interesting to watch. I want to talk about that after this. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. But when it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Keeping the sports conversation hot like a summer day in Duval.
That's the kind of talk I like to hear.
1010XL, your summer station.
Hi, it's Frank Frangie. Look, when it comes to glass, there's one name I trust, and that's Lee & Kate's Glass. Mirrors, custom showers, tabletops, even foggy glass windows, they handle all that. And they've been doing it right since long before I ever picked up a mic. Local, family-owned, and part of this community, just like we are. They've taken great care of me, including our brand-new walk-off offices. Guys, they did a great job, and I promise they'll do the same for you. Lee & Kate's, it's the clear choice. Check them out at leeandkatesglass.com.
Ready to ride the waves? Best Bet St. Augustine is turning up the heat with our Summer Splash promotion. We're giving away over $40,000 in cash and prizes, including a brand new 2025 Yamaha Wave Runner. From now through August 8th, every hour you play poker or table games earns you an entry to win. It all leads up to the grand prize drawing on August 9th. The more you play, the more chances you have. Don't miss your shot to make a splash this summer. Visit bestbetjacks.com for all the details. That's bestbetjacks.com.
And welcome back to another episode of Potty Talk with our current champion. So what's your secret to your perfect plumbing proficiency?
It's simple, really. Roland Reach Plumbing is always the right answer.
Roland Reach Plumbing, 260-7059.
What is the smallest NFL stadium? The answer coming up.
When you file a claim with Southern Oak Insurance, we schedule one of our trusted vendors to work directly with you, which means a faster claim resolution. Find out more at southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
Soldier Field in Chicago is not only the smallest, but is also the oldest, built originally in 1924.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwood. What is a gemologist?
Frank, that's a good question because gemologist is a generic title that can be used by anyone, whether they have any gemological training or not. There's also a graduate gemologist, which is somebody that's taken the gemology courses of the Gemological Institute of America and received a diploma. Then there's a certified gemologist of the American Gem Society. They've received the graduate gemologist diploma, have worked in the jewelry business for a minimum of 3 years, and are tested by examination once a year to re-win the certified gemologist title. There's one other aspect that certified gemologists have that others might or might not have, and that's the accredited gemological equipment to be able to make the right grading calls on diamonds and other gemstones. At Underwoods, we have an American Gem Society accredited gem laboratory that our certified gemologists work in, assuring you the quality and value you deserve.
That's Underwoods, Florida's longest-standing member of the American Gem Society in San Marco, Avondale, the Shops of Ponte Vedra, Underwood Jewelers.
Go inside your home team's locker room with Jags beat reporter Hayes Carline.
Check out my blog at 1010XL.com
so you can catch all the news and nuggets you need to know.
My blog is brought to you by Roland Reach Plumbing,
where quality and experience count. home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Have you been diagnosed with moderate to severe opioid use disorder? You may qualify for a new clinical research study. Dr. Ferdinand Formoso is now enrolling participants to evaluate the effectiveness of a non-opioid medication treatment option for OUD. Qualified participants will receive study-related care at no cost and may be eligible for reimbursement of travel and accommodations. To qualify, applicants must be 18 to 65 years old, have been diagnosed with moderate to severe opioid use disorder, and have not been on medication to treat opioid use in the last 3 months. The study lasts up to 22 weeks, with weekly visits during treatment. If you're ready to explore a new path forward, visit OUDstudy.com for more details and qualifications. Take the first steps and visit OUDstudy.com. That's OUDstudy.com. OUDstudy.com.
Registration is now open for the Circle K Greater Jacksonville Kingfish Tournament. Over $250,000 in cash and prizes available, with payouts up to 20 places. Of course, there's great prizes for lady anglers, and bring along your junior anglers as well. Register today at kingfishtournament.com. Even if you're not on the water, spectators will enjoy fun exhibits, food, kids' activities, and a fireworks display at the Circle K Greater Jacksonville Kingfish Tournament.
Transmission troubles? I'm Robin Sidbury, owner of Action Transmission Specialist on Merrill Road. So come in and see how we can help solve your transmission troubles. We service all makes and models. Remember, get traction. Call Action at 744-0755.
This is Hayes Carlion for Harrell and Harrell. I was at lunch with my good friend Holt, and he was telling me that sometimes a lawyer can get more from a case than their own client. I was surprised to hear this, but Holt said that doesn't happen with Harrell and Harrell. They'll never take a fee that is greater than their own client. When they say they treat their clients as a person and not a file, they mean it. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you're ever injured, call Harrell and Harrell at 904-251-1111. That's 904-251-1111.
I'm Max Fink with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update, brought to you by the Greater Jacksonville Kingfish Tournament. As the Jacksonville Jaguars get ready for a 2025 football season with full capacity of 60,000 plus fans, Everbank Stadium partners will be hiring for more than 1,000 part-time positions at a job fair on Tuesday, June 24th. The event will take place from 5 to 8 p.m. at the Prime Osborne Convention Center. Organizations participating include ASM Global Jacksonville, Safe Management, Delaware North, Citywide, and Fanatics. Available positions include ushers, ticket takers, food service staff, bartenders, servers, cashiers, security, merchandise staff, housekeeping, and parking attendants. To learn more about the event, visit www.jaguars.com/GST careers. It's 89 degrees at 5:02. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Best Bet Monday on The Frangie Show with fantastic locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and now in St. Augustine. It's Best Bet.
Hey, cash in on the table games this weekend at all Best Bet locations. Clockwork Cash Out pays out this Friday and Saturday, 6 p.m. to midnight, with $300 being given away every 15 minutes. That's at all three of those locations. St. Augustine, right there on 95. On 17 is the Orange Park location over here on Monument Road. Jacksonville, guys, you do a great job. You want to have a big time, make a little money, make a little cash, great food. Head to one of those great Best Bet locations, and always a Best Bet Monday on this program. Frangie and Hacker and JJ LaSelva with you as we continue along. Sunday golf has become so thrilling except when Scheffler is like way ahead of everybody. But other than that, so I'm watching yesterday, and I wanted Tommy Fleetwood to win. Not because I'm a Fleetwood fan like you said you are. When did you become a Tommy Fleetwood fan?
Well,
when did that happen?
So Joe and I, back when I did Prime Time, Joe always jokingly referred to him as Golf Jesus.
Okay.
Just because the way he looks with the hair and
the beard,
whatnot.
okay.
Yeah, that's how I've picked up on Fleetwood. This is 6-7 years ago.
Okay.
And, you go through the majors and even the players, I think, a year or two, And 36 holes in, there's Fleetwood on the leaderboard.
Right.
54 holes in, there's Fleetwood on the leaderboard. But he never can finish the deal. He's never won. And yesterday, and truthfully, I didn't even know how he was doing until I turned it on yesterday, and there was Fleetwood on the leaderboard. So it had my full attention. Wife and son are out of town. So I was passionately rooting for Tommy Fleetwood yesterday. And I was a little ticked, actually, that the 72nd hole went down the way it went down.
Yeah, I can tell you that watching this, and I'm thinking, okay, he's not going to blow this one. You're watching the whole day. He's up 3 shots. He's up 4 shots. He's up 2. Now he's up 1 shot. He's back. But, okay, he's still got – and, again, I wanted drama. By the way, the main reason I wanted him to make the putt is because I thought Keegan Bradley was going to make the putt, and I wanted a playoff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I said, okay, both you guys make the putt. We got more golf. I love golf. Who doesn't love playoff golf?
Sure.
Right? And I thought – but I'm telling you, freaking golf's hard, by the way. Golf's hard. I tell – and Lee Smith, who does – we have Lee Smith in here every Thursday, as you know. He's a fantastic golf analyst, probably the best I've ever been around. He's just a really good. So he can kind of take us. Lee does a great job of taking us inside sort of the mind of the golfer. You know what I mean? And he's really good at it. And he does a great job. He's a good and he always says golf's hard. It's freaking hard. And here's Fleetwood, like you said, wasn't sure what club to use on the approach. Probably should have hit the 9, hits the wedge, he's short.
He had the 9 in his hand, and he put it back in the bag and got the wedge out.
And we didn't want to fly it, you know, so, but anyway, okay, but still, you're still two-putt the green, and at worst, you're in a playoff. Now, it turns out he would, and you know what? There's no guarantee that if he makes it, that Bradley makes it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think he would have, because he's playing, you know what I mean? Keegan Bradley at that point, it was almost house money. Missed the putt, you still have a playoff,
right?
You know, so so it was clear the pressure's never off. But I just what I took out of that hack is that shows you the pressure of sport, okay? The real pressure. And I've heard someone say one time, and I've never forgotten this. You know, winning between whether you're going to win $4 million or I'll give you an example, by the way. Keegan Bradley won $3.6 million. Okay, that was his take.
It's not bad Sunday.
He won 3.6. Russell Henley, who chipped in, by the way, at the end to make it interesting. Russell Henley and Tommy Fleetwood both made $1.8 million, 1.76. Okay, so someone said pressure's not whether you make 3.6 or 1.8. It's still a bunch of money. Pressure is owning a pizza shop and having a $10,000 payroll come due and you got $500 in the bank. That's pressure. Well, okay, I get that. But don't tell me there wasn't pressure with the whole world watching and you've never won and you want to win so badly and you're obviously one of the better players in the world. You've never gotten that first PGA Tour win and now you've led the entire dang tournament, it feels like, and now you are one good shot, you know, hit it up there close and you probably win the tournament. Because, I mean, he when he hit it that short, all the momentum changed. And can you imagine how tight he was? It just shows you how freaking hard golf is and how hard professional sports at the highest level are in that moment. That's what I took out of that is there's no way Tommy Fleetwood, any other time in his life, 3-putts that green. There's no way. He 3-putted that green because there was more pressure than he's ever had in his life because he was that close to winning.
And truthfully, look, if Tommy Fleetwood was a 6, 7, 8-time PGA Tour winner, would it be a big story today? Yeah, it would still be a big story because of the comeback. But Fleetwood, I think, and you're in the golf world more than I am, Fleetwood, if he's not at the top, he's generally considered one of the top guys to have never won.
Well, he's the best player that's never won. I think that's roundly regarded now. He's roundly regarded as the best player who's never won on tour.
And because it ended the way it ended yesterday, look, I'm all for Keegan Bradley and USA, and I totally get that, as you mentioned earlier. But there was a part of me that's rooting for Tommy Fleetwood, and for him to lose in that fashion is just kind of gut-wrenching because now it's a thing, right?
Yeah,
it always was a thing, but now it's even more of a thing. Next time he's in that position, everybody's going to bring up the Travelers in 2025 and the choke job or whatever you want to call it. And can he get over that to finally win one? If he ever does, it'll be that much more sweeter. But how many more opportunities is he going to have like he had yesterday?
And we're all kind of different. You know, I don't enjoy seeing somebody mess up. You know, I mean, remember when American Idol came on?
Oh, yeah.
Everybody used to watch American Idol.
To see how awful the singers were.
They would always give you like one or two guys per episode that were a complete dumpster fire.
Well, when it started, they loved giving you the terrible ones.
Right.
So Simon could tell them how awful they were. I never liked that part. In fact, guys like me are probably why you don't have that anymore. Now they just show you the good ones.
Yeah.
Now the ones that don't even make it are pretty good, right? But back then they used to have the horrible ones. Well, I never liked that. I would rather, back to the golf, to that end, I'd rather see both play great and one guy holds a 20-footer and steals the win rather than one guy collapses. And you asked me a minute ago, what will I remember most about the basketball? You and JJ both said you remember the injury to Halliburton. For the moment today, yes. Next week, yes. 10 days, yes. But ultimately, I will remember the Thunder winning because I thought they had the best team all year and the best player all year. But yesterday, with all due respect to Keegan Bradley, I will remember this is a John Vandervelde moment.
Right.
John Vandervelde. I will remember Tommy Fleetwood, what an awful collapse it was. I'll remember that more than who won. If you asked me about that Travelers thing, just the look on his face, I'm telling you, in 6 months a year, I'll go, who won? Was it Harris English? No, it wasn't Harris English. It was a guy like him. It was, Bradley. But I'll remember, so I'll have trouble remembering that. But I'll damn sure remember who didn't win.
When I hosted sports trivia, one of my go-to questions was who won the Vandervelde tournament, the one that he collapsed. Yeah. It was a playoff. There were 3 of them, and I know Justin Leonard was involved.
I don't remember who won. I
haven't hosted trivia in 5 years. Truthfully, I've forgotten too because that tournament is all about John Vandervelde.
You'd be a great trivia host, by the way.
Oh, I did it for 3 years.
Why'd you quit?
3 times a week kind of got a little excessive.
You do have a family.
I do have a family. But hosting trivia was fun, especially
You'd be a great
sports trivia.
You'd be a great trivia host.
But
I can see you on the floor of the Ramada Inn.
Oh, yeah.
On all the food. Couldn't you see that, JJ?
I was getting after it back then.
Oh, yeah.
You show up at the Ramada to hear Hack ask the questions.
But the Vandervelde thing, that just goes to show you, we remember him, but we don't have any idea who won that major championship.
Yeah. Well, that's how I'll be about the Travelers. I'll because of the Ryder Cup implications, I'll probably remember Keegan Bradley, but I'll remember more that Thomas.
It was Paul Laurie, by the way.
Paul Laurie. It was a playoff between Vandervelde, Laurie, I think Justin Leonard. It was a 3-person playoff. All
right, we'll take a break. We're going to talk a little bit about the College World Series thing. I'm going to weigh back in on that. And I'm going to ask you about your Gator fandom roots. Everyone knows you're a Gator fan.
Yeah.
But you have kind of a fun story. I mean, you grew up in enemy territory.
I was born in Tallahassee Memorial Hospital.
You grew up with the enemy.
I did.
That's coming next. Stay with us.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Share your life with 1010XL. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
Oh, wait. I'm going to take a picture and post it on Facebook.
What? Hashtag 1010XL.
This is Mark Nato. My sons and I have seen the doctors and PAs at Southeast Ortho for everything from lumbar spine stress to elbow tendonitis. Southeast has always been there, been truthful, and always been on point. Everything they say happens. We can't thank them enough for what they've done and the great care that they have taken of our sons.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Florida heat hitting like a heavyweight? Time to call in the champ. KO Electric and HVAC. We knock out the heat and power up your comfort. Fast, reliable, and undefeated in home service. KOElectricJacks.com. KOElectricJacks.com.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
Hey, Hicken here. I couldn't be any happier than to join the George Moore Chevrolet family. When I say family, I mean it. Visit their beautiful showroom today off Atlantic Boulevard. Find out exactly what I'm talking about. No pressure, just friendly help. And whether you want a car, a truck, SUV, electric, pre-owned, you name it, George Moore Chevrolet has it. And if you can't make it over to Atlantic Boulevard, no problem. MooreChevy.com is easy to navigate as any site you will try. It's never been more easy to use. George Moore Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Storms don't wait, so why should you? Protect your home and your wallet with Universal Roof and Contracts. Save 15% on roof replacements and repairs now through June 30th. And financing is available with payments as low as $115. Call 855-ROOF-HELP for your free inspection. Universal Roof and Contracting. Protecting your home, building your trust. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
UniversalRoof.com. Weekends were made for sports, and I'll tell you my take on this weekend's most interesting option. 1010XL's Media Mogul Hicken here. Watch for Musing with the Media Mogul on YouTube and Facebook. Made possible by Tucker Equipment Rentals in Neptune Beach.
E.T. here, and Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days than bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find Scratch Kitchen that always comes in the clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar. Hit a home run for happy hour and ask your Twin Peaks girl about local specials on drafts, cocktail shots, and more. Come on, somebody.
These days, guys who go engagement ring shopping have a really good idea of what she wants.
I was looking for something very specific. My wife shared some notes with me with what she was looking for.
Meet Jacksonville's Richard Skinner.
I did some research online. I called around the city. I shopped at other stores.
Richard found the best deal, the best ring, the best customer service at locally owned Beard's Diamonds.
We did shop around that stone and that particular setup with different jewelers, and Beard's was able to come in significantly lower. It was a no-brainer.
But way more than the price, it was truly a beautiful ring in a custom setting with a hand-picked, large, dazzling emerald-cut diamond. Literally breathtaking.
Oh, yeah. When she saw it, she couldn't talk for about 30 minutes. Her eyes got all watery and her face got red, and we almost had a panic attack.
So don't make her settle for a chain store ring. Get something special that reflects her unique style, taste, and personality at Beard's Diamonds.
It's a one-of-a-kind piece.
Beard's Diamonds, Jacksonville's only locally owned direct diamond importer.
I'm the hero.
At the St. John Town Center.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville, and Triumph has been a legend on-road. They've branched out to their off-road division as well. Give us the latest on what you can find on the asphalt.
They've got some great new products. They've got the Scrambler 400s you can get into for a little less than you might think. It's a great price point bike, but still a Triumph.
So affordability is also part of the equation.
It is, and it looks good, and it rides good.
CyclesofJacksonville.com, or check them out on their Facebook page. The showroom ready and waiting for you on Atlantic near Regency at Cycles of Jacksonville.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Instant Keys saves the day if you have lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call 722-1111.
Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Are you ready to play this summer? At the First Coast YMCA, we're committed to being your home for health and wellness and a place for friendly competition with team sports for adults and for kids. Basketball, volleyball, pickleball, flag football, soccer. The Y has something for everyone at any age. Discover all the benefits of YMCA membership and find your fun this summer at the Y. Registration for team sports and summer camps is open now. Visit fcymca.org.
Cannonball!
Honey, someone's in our pool.
Oh, refreshing.
John, what are you doing?
Oh, hey, Dave. Seeing as how me and the guys at Clearwater Irrigation reinstalled your sprinklers after the pool contractor ripped it out, I thought you wouldn't mind if I took a quick dip.
But in a Jaguar print Speedo?
Yeah, Dave. My bad.
Clearwater Irrigation. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at sprinklers.
And drainage, too.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Best Bet Monday on The Frangie Show with fantastic locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and now in St. Augustine. It's Best Bet.
Play the ELO. It's going to take me a while, Hack. I can't get. I'm not jumping in front right now. Okay, I'm an ELO for crying out loud. Frangie and Hacker with you, JJ La Selva, as well as we continue on here on this Monday. Our Mondays are always brought to you by our friends at The Best Bet. Weekends are full of winnings at The Best Bet. Now, Friday brings you $500 every 30 minutes from 10 in the morning till 12 at night, so 10 to midnight, 10 in the morning to midnight. Saturday has $1,000 every 30 minutes from 10 in the morning to midnight. So you want to make some money, you need to head to the Best Bet. Again, 3 locations, Monument Road in Jacksonville, US 17 in Orange Park, and just off of 95 in St. Augustine. All right, now by now you know the story. I'm going to repeat it one more time. Coastal Carolina coach Kevin Schnall was ejected in the first inning of a national championship game, losing to LSU 5-3. The umpire's name was Angel Campos. The first base coach for Matt Schilling for Coastal Carolina was chirping about some bad calls. The home plate umpire Campos warned the first base coach. After that, the head coach, Kevin Schnall, the manager, if it was in Major League Baseball, the head coach, comes out of the dugout, said, "What's that about?" He said, I've given your first base coach a warning for arguing balls and strikes. Schnall puts 3 fingers in the air. He says, "That's because you missed 3 in a row." Ejected him.
Mm-hmm.
That's what got him ejected. Now, I don't know if he used profanity or what. He said, "That's because you missed three in a row." He ejected him. It's one of the worst ejections I've ever seen. And this guy, Angel Campos, is getting killed on social media, in the baseball community. Nobody's defending this guy. And all he had to say, take his mask off. Okay, coach, I've warned him. Now I'm warning you. I get it. I get your point about the 3 calls. So we're in the first inning. We got a lot of game to get. We're going to be here together for a few hours here. Get back in your dugout. I'm not going to hear it again. I don't want to listen to it. I've warned him. I'm warning you. I got it about the 3 calls. And the game moves on. And I think, by the way, at that point, Kevin Schnall probably shuts up and goes back in the dugout. It's one of the worst. It was an umpire who was a hothead, a total hothead, that wants to show you how tough he is, wants to turn it into an show. And it was absolutely disgusting. It really was.
Well, and to add to it, too, now in Schnall's post-game press conference, I thought he laid it out pretty well, exactly what happened. He said, if I deserve to get thrown out, I deserve to get thrown out. But he kind of laid out exactly what went down. The one thing you didn't mention, Frank, and this is according to Kevin Schnall of Coastal Carolina, when he came out of the dugout, Campos, the umpire, did one of these. Kind of like, shoot him. Get back in the dugout.
Yeah.
All right. So the head coach is coming out to defend his first base coach,
right?
And you're gonna shoo the guy.
Yeah,
that would have pissed me off too.
Yeah, and I agree. But again, the easiest way for the umpire, take your mask off. Say, "Coach, I've had enough now. You said I missed 3 pitches. I got it. I'm with you. I'm back here calling a game the best I can. It's the national championship game. Don't get yourself run out of this game. Coach, I'm trying to tell you, don't get yourself ejected here. Get back in the dugout and let's play on." It was the first inning, but you're right. He did shoo him.
You shoot him.
Yeah. So,
how are you going to shoo a guy?
And again, the Coastal Carolina head coach, Schnall, it's the same guy that called out Sully now.
Yeah.
Listen, is there any doubt in your mind now that Sully was snickering a little bit?
I had Gator fans in my feed on my social media that were kind of laughing about it.
They had to be saying, and by the way, Sully, by his own admission, was over the top. He apologized. He was probably told to apologize. Scott Strickland apologized. But so this is not defending Sully. I'm just saying, be careful. If you're the guy that calls out a guy for acting like a jerk, don't get run out of a game. So, all right. Why are you a Gator fan? I mean, you were born in Tallahassee Memorial Hospital.
Tallahassee Memorial Hospital in the shadow of Doak S. Campbell Stadium.
Because you didn't go to Florida.
I did not. I'm the black sheep of the family.
Okay. But tell me, so how are you born? How long did you live in Tallahassee?
I lived there until I was 11, right after 5th grade. I moved to Jacksonville right before middle school.
So first 10 years of your life, you were right there near Doak Campbell.
Right there, Killarn.
Right in the shadows. Right in the shadows of it.
Not only that, right in Killarn, I was 5 minutes from Bobby Bowden's house.
Right. You lived down the street from Bobby. You're in Killarn. If people don't know, Killarn's a wonderful golf course in Tallahassee where Bobby Bowden lived. I've been to Bobby's house.
Oh, yeah.
You been to Bobby's house?
I've passed by Bobby's house.
I've been to a party at Bobby's house.
Yeah.
Just want to throw that little name drop.
I like that.
So tell me what happened.
It's one of those things where you're kind of born into something, and I don't know if I ever really had a choice in the matter. My father, how can I say this? He hated Florida State. That's about as clear.
Well, you can say it like that.
Yeah, he hated Florida State. I don't know if they wronged him in another life.
Okay.
My dad hated everything about the Garnet and Gold because he lived in Tallahassee.
Right.
He actually worked, and I've told you this story. My dad worked in the court house in Tallahassee. He was the court reporter in the Tallahassee portion of the Bundy trial.
Yeah,
in Tallahassee.
I didn't know that.
So, and he worked downtown, and he was just in the legal system. But he was a diehard Florida Gator fan. My grandfather was a Florida Gator fan. He's a Florida Gator fan.
Where was your dad from?
He was from here. Yeah, he's from Jacksonville.
Okay, so your dad's a Jacksonville guy, grew up a Gator, and then moved to Tallahassee.
Then moved to Tallahassee.
Got it.
Yeah. So and met my mom, and they actually got married here, and then settled in Tallahassee.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I was born in '83, and there's a picture of me 6 months old with a Gator bandana in the crib.
You had the do-rag?
I had the do-rag.
You were rocking the do-rag.
There's no doubt.
Okay.
The bandana was on.
That answers every question.
The orange and blue. His son was going to be a Florida Gator fan. Now, there were people that tried to convert me to Florida State-ism, if you will. I remember a couple of my mom's friends had season tickets to Dick Hauser Stadium. I hung out with the Animals.
Yeah.
Doug Minkiewicz and J.D.
Mongo?
Drew and Paul
Mongo was
Wilson.
up there, yeah.
I love the Animals. Dick Hauser Stadium was great for Florida State baseball. That couldn't get the job done. I consider myself now to, of course, be an objective broadcast journalist, as I'm sure you do.
Oh, no question.
But the fact that I was born in Tallahassee, yeah, I've been a Gator fan or a Gator supporter now for, the last 40-plus years.
JJ, you know some of my favorite moments after Gator losses? Can I tell you?
Please.
Can I tell you?
Hack on Twitter.
Yeah, hack on
I
Twitter.
already knew it.
Hack on Twitter. And you've actually, sadly, you've now grown up, so you don't do it much anymore.
I've calmed down. I've gotten older.
But my favorite moments would be...
He's gotten older, not more mature. I've gotten older.
The Gators, and I would look for this. The Gators would lose 65-3 to Georgia or whatever. And Hacker would go on Twitter and go, well, wasn't as bad as that FSU loss. Those are some of my
Remember Jacksonville State?
Yeah. Right. Jackson, that was my favorite moment.
If I felt bad, I was bringing somebody down with it.
I respect that.
Wasn't as bad as that.
I'm a person, I'm exactly the same as that.
When I used to hold grudges, man, I never forgave Billy Packer for what he did in the 2000
Teddy
Florida
DePay?
Michigan. Oh,
you never did. You never
did.
You never
Casey
did.
Cavalry over the back. Haven't gotten over that. That's 27 years ago.
By the way, I am the same way as far as not getting over stuff.
Oh, man.
Okay. The
like people say Jack Childress to me, it just my blood just starts boiling.
Yes, it does.
The swindle in the swamp.
And I've been around you enough times. I will tell you how bad I hold on to grudges. I mean, again, I've told the Buck Bellew story 1,000 times. I don't need to tell it again. When Buck hit the long home run after the Lindsey Scott, Buck and I have become really good friends. But there's still a side of me that's angry about Buck to Lindsey. And I will tell you this. Let me tell you a story people don't know. Some people do. JJ, you may not even know this story. Sid Bream was a career pirate.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know this?
No. I think I did, yeah.
He was a career pirate until he got traded to the Braves in the last year or two. Okay?
That makes it even crazier.
Scores, the scores on
and he's also the slowest human being on the planet.
Right. So thank you for pointing that out. So he scores, okay, in the worst moment of my life, okay? And
worse than Lindsey Scott?
Well, those are the two.
Yeah.
Those are they're equal. I mean, they're equally terrible. And so he finished his career a year or two later. He's a wonderful guy, by the way. He's like one of the most nicest people you've ever met in your life.
Terrific mustache.
Yeah. Gets hired back by the Pirates as a roving hitting instructor.
Oh.
So fast forward, I don't know, 10 years later, whatever, if that, I'm at Pirate Spring Training. I go to Pirate City. Pirate Spring Training is at downtown at Lecon Field, and then there's Pirate City, which is about 3 miles away. You go over there, okay, you get your orange swirl because that's what you do, heck, and then you go over there to the Pirate City. I walked up, and then he's shaking hands with everybody, and everyone's patting him on the back, and he's nice and engaging. Wouldn't talk to him. Never I left.
Yeah.
I wouldn't talk to him.
I don't blame you.
You can't talk to, if you're me, you can't talk to Sid Bream, can you?
I don't blame you at all.
You can't go, all the fans are all shaking his hand, and he's smiling, kissing baby. Nicest guy in the world.
What is there to say?
No, I'm not going to Sid Bream.
No.
I turned around and left.
You ruined your life.
So I'm the same, right. So I'm the same way. So I certainly get that. So I'm trying to think, I wanted people to know, some do, but I wanted people to know why Hacker's such a diehard Gator fan, particularly growing up in Tallahassee.
And it's just funny how, everybody has a story about why you support a team you support. Mine's as simple as my dad wasn't going to let his son support anybody other than Florida. I was brainwashed from birth.
JJ, you didn't have Hurricanes in the family, right?
No,
were
my
just a
parents
rebel,
are
right?
both Clemson alumni, so they
right.
lived in Miami for a really long time. So I grew up with like a unaffiliated house, basically. And so I had to pick, and I loved how cool the Canes were, Kenny Kelly, the uniforms, and that we had that Miami connection, and that was that. And then we became really awesome, and I was like, this is my life now. We win national titles, and we go undefeated, and we beat all of our rivals, and then
you hire Al Golden, and
you realize that's not how it is.
But I will tell you this. I'll tell you this. And listen. The 2001 Hurricanes were magnificent. Might be the best team ever assembled. But I'll stand by this. They paled in comparison to me to those freaking 87 through 93 Miami Hurricanes.
Some of those Leon teams.
I'm telling you, those teams, they were nasty.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite stories ever, I've told this story before. Brett Bielema is now the Illinois coach, right? You've heard, people listen to the show have heard these stories. You know me, I retell my stories all the time. Sorry. But so Brett Bielema is now the Illinois coach. He's been all around, okay? Well, Tourette and I are doing a game. And he at the time is at the Wisconsin. It wasn't Arkansas, it was the Wisconsin coach. So Tourette goes to talk to Bielema, okay? And Bielema's a funny guy. So he shakes his hand because we're doing the game. Hey, coach, good to see you. And Bielema goes, oh, you're talking to me now. I said, no, he goes, okay, no, he says, you shake my, now you'll shake my hand. He's kind of laughing. And Gino Tourette is the nicest guy in the world, goes, Coach, I don't, did I not shake your hand? Because he's been in the broadcast business for a while.
Right.
And he said, in 91, 91, 90, whatever, he goes, I played for Iowa. He said, we were playing at Iowa. You guys came out there. Miami undefeated every year, back-to-back national titles and all that. And you came to midfield for the coin flip. And he goes, he said, we flipped the coin. We went to shake hands. None of you guys would shake hands with us.
Yeah.
He said, you guys wouldn't shake hands with us. He said, I said, okay, tough guy. He said, we went back to our huddle. He said, okay, you're going to come to our place. You're going to come here to our city, our stadium, and you're not going to shake hands? Well, you got one coming. He said, after about 47-3, he said, I realized why you didn't shake our hands. That's a true story. And to which Gina said, listen, I did what Michael Barrow and Darren Smith told what they decided. If those guys said don't shake hands, we weren't shaking hands. So I remember the story. It was hilarious, though.
Those Miami teams were crazy.
And they were independent, so they would go on the road and play everybody and anybody.
Leon's got all kinds of stories. Texas, LSU, Notre Dame, obviously. They played anybody.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was a nasty, they were really good. They were really, really good. I'll take a break. 1 segment to go. We'll wrap the program after this.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Brent Musburger's Visa in Action update on 1010XL. Brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The Oklahoma City Thunder won the NBA championship Sunday night. They beat the Indiana Pacers 103-91 in Game 7. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was the Finals MVP, finished Sunday night with 29 points. And the Thunder are the early favorites to win the NBA championship in 2026. The Thunder are plus 220, while the Cleveland Cavaliers, who had the best record in the Eastern Conference last year, are plus 800. The Houston Rockets, who recently acquired Kevin Durant in a trade with the Phoenix Suns, are plus 800. The New York Knicks plus 850 to win next year's championship. The Boston Celtics plus 1,300, and the Los Angeles Lakers are plus 1,400. Earn cash back on your gaming transactions with the GBank Signature Visa Card at vsin.com/GBank. I'm Tony Desiri with your Visa in Action update on 1010XL.
Attention business owners and property managers. Hurricane season is right around the corner. Is your property ready? Call the pros at Duck Duck Rooter for expert storm drain cleaning and hydrojetting. Our powerful VACCON truck clears the way so your drains flow freely when the rain hits. Call 904-862-6769 today to schedule your service and protect your property before the storms start rolling in. Duck Duck Rooter, your trusted name in storm drain maintenance. Visit us at duckduckrooter.com. We're a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hi, folks. I'm Frangie. If you have a sweet tooth like me, the sweetest desserts in town come from Spoonful Bakery. Spoonful is an online bakery. They deliver boxes of assorted desserts right to your home or office. They're so good, and they make for great gifts for friends or clients. And if you want custom orders, wedding cakes or birthday cakes, or catered desserts for an event, they are the best. Log on to spoonful-bakery.com or call them at 904-515-4984. That's Spoonful Bakery for the sweetest desserts in town.
June is Men's Health Month, and here's your reminder to be proactive and get screened for early detection at Ackerman Cancer Center. Many cancer instances are largely preventable and treatable. So take steps now to minimize your risk factors at AckermanCancerCenter.com.
It's always truck season at Nimnick Chevrolet. Well, this month, you can save up to 20% off a new Silverado or get financing as low as 2.9%. Now, unlike most dealerships, Nimnick Chevrolet has the largest inventory on the ground, and it's ready for you to explore. With their extensive selection, you're sure to find the perfect truck at Nimnick. Available now, the all-new Silverado EV with payments starting in the mid-200s. Designed to go the distance, the Silverado EV boasts 440 miles of range, more standard range than any competitor. And remember, Nimnick will always give you the top dollar for your trade, and for a limited time, up to an additional $3,000 in trade assistance. That's right, $3,000. So head to Nimnick today. You can shop online 24/7 at nimnickchevy.com or view the dealership right there at Park Street and Cassett Avenue. So who's got more new Silverados at the best prices? Nobody but Nimnick.
I'm Julie Harrell. I grew up here in Jacksonville and have seen our city grow as well as the number of car crashes. If you need help after a crash, choose a law firm with an actual office here. Lawyers you can meet with face-to-face and who specialize in personal injury. At Harrell & Harrell, we've been here for nearly 40 years, developing relationships with local doctors, law enforcement, helping people just like you. If you've been injured in a crash, call Harrell & Harrell. Offices, Jacksonville.
Spring has sprung, and so have the bugs. It's Hayes Carline and my friends at Kingfish Pest Control offer an exclusive $99 spring special. That's right, your initial pest control service is just $99. And if you call today, they'll include a free one-time mosquito treatment. Kingfish Pest Control is family-owned, 5-star rated with no binding contracts and 100% satisfaction guarantee. Call them now to book your service. Only at Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
Give us your hot take.
Pop quiz, hot shot.
On the 1010XL text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures.
You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm awake and I speak English, so yeah, I do know what you're saying.
Be part of the conversation. 641-1010.
Baloo here for Smoonez Vision. Why Smoonez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smoonez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smoonez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smoonez is fellowship trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmoonezVision.com today. Here you can see.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too. From Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality products and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
Rick Ballou for Coy Dental. That's right, Carlson Dental is now Coy Dental. Dr. Lee has been practicing there for 9 years, has purchased the company. The Coy Dental team still has the same great dentists and staff. And remember, if you get nervous visiting a dentist, don't. There's never a problem at Coy Dental. With light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation for all your restorative needs. Coy Dental, 2 locations in Jacksonville.
Electrical problems? Call American Electrical Contracting. 737-7770. Small jobs or large, they do them all. Work with a locally owned and operated company that will wire it right at a fair price. It's not just a slogan, it's the way they do business.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since 87.
All right, where have we been on the coast of the show today? We talked about a lot of stuff. The NBA Finals, SGA wins the championship and the MVP as he should have. Tyrese Halliburton, a really tough injury to see early in that game after he'd made 3 threes. He tore his Achilles, and that's a tough thing, but the Thunder win their first title. The Seattle Supersonics had won one before, the franchise that moved, but it's the first one for the Thunder. We talked about the Travelers and kind of the meltdown for Tommy Fleetwood at the end. Certainly felt bad for him. We talked a little bit about the College World Series. And we talked about we started the show with a significant contract and the bold move by the Jaguars to pay Travis Hunter all that bonus money up front. Good for them and good for him. All right, so Hacker, you'll be with me tomorrow. Tomorrow, Matt Taylor will be on the show. He's going to join me at 5 o'clock to talk about the Colts. He's the play-by-play voice of the Colts, but you'll be in here. We'll talk about some other stuff. We're going to give you Wednesday off because on Wednesday we've got Brett Hastings at 4:20. Taylor Zarzour, the brand new play-by-play voice of the Titans, will be at 4:40. Mark Vandermeer, the play-by-play voice of the Texans, at 5. We're doing all the opponents this week, and he'll be with us on 5 o'clock that day. So we have a lot of stuff. So we'll let you have 1 week off, so you're not totally sick of Hayes and me and JJ, although you probably are anyway. Then we'll drag you back in on a Thursday. What do you think about the division? Hayes thinks the division is really flawed. Do you feel that way?
Yeah, I think the division's pretty bad. I mean, I look at Indianapolis. They got a quarterback controversy on their hands already. Richardson says he'll be ready for camp. I'm not sure if that's going to matter because Shane Steichen and the folks up there are going to play the guy that gives them the best chance to win, because if they don't win, they're going to be out of a job at the end of the year. And they paid Daniel Jones like $12 million. You don't usually pay a guy $12 million to sit with a clipboard and a cap on the sideline. So I think they have a great roster. The quarterback situation concerns me in Indy. I like Cam Ward, but again, I think the Titans are probably a year or two away. Texans are going to get all the love in the preseason. Their offensive line was bad last year, Frank, and it probably got worse, man. They replaced Laramie Tunsil with Cam Robinson. They replaced Stephon Diggs with Christian Kirk. They're not going to have Tank Dell for the entire year because of that devastating knee injury, more than likely. So I know Houston's going to be the overwhelming pick to win the division. I think arguably they had one of the worst off seasons in the NFL.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see. And does C.J. Stroud have the bounce back season? Bobby Slowick, the coordinator who everybody loves so much, got fired after the year. Do they bounce back offensively? That's really the big question with the Texans. It'll be very interesting to see. And look, the most intriguing team is this one.
Yeah,
I mean, it really is. That's the team about whom we're not sure. What difference does Travis Hunter make? I mean, you talk about a team that's rebuilt their team. Look, and to the outside, to the people looking in, it's going to look like the same team because what you know about a team that's not in your market are the stars. Well, Trevor Lawrence is still here. Brian Thomas Jr. is still here. Travis Etienne is still here. We'll see if he's the starting running, but he's still here. Josh Hines, Allen, Trayvon Walker, and Foye Oluokun are still here. Tyson Campbell's still here. Same kicker, punter. You get the point. So if you're on the outside, look, if you're in Houston or Nashville or Indy, or for that matter, anywhere else around the league, you know the stars. So the team won't look different. But those of us here know it's a dramatically different roster. Dramatically different. I mean, this is a team that signed 10 free agents, then added Agba, then added Smoot. So really signed 12 free agents. And I mean, Fred Johnson was the 10th, right? So so we're 12 now, right?
We were at 12. Yeah. Now, and that doesn't even take into account like Irwin, who I think might make the team.
Yeah, that's right.
Cincinnati and Carolina.
Right. That's right. So but 12 true free agents, drafted a bunch of guys. So, and I think most of those draft picks are making the team. I mean, LaQuinton Allen was late. I think he's going to be their third down backer, certainly going to compete for it. Monheim was late. He's going to battle Luke Fortner for that backup center spot. So, I mean, that's their last picks. If the last picks are going to be on the team, and I think there's a good chance they are, so let's assume all 10 draft picks make the team. Let's assume all those that's 22 new players. So it's the offensive line will look and feel different. I believe that. I truly believe the offensive line will look and feel different. I think the interior of the defensive line will feel different, same guys. So it'll be an interesting team.
You know, the thing is, if you're outside of Jacksonville, kind of to your point, Nashville, Indy, Houston, and you think about the Jaguars from afar, we're just so engulfed by it. We talk about it every day. We cover it every day. But the outside world, here's what they think about the Jaguars, because I've talked to enough of them this offseason. Oh, they're the team with a 34-year-old general manager. They're the team with a 39-year-old that did the Duval thing at the press conference.
Right.
They're the team that signed a center that didn't even start last year. They're the team that is signing a 31-year-old safety to replace Andre Sisco. All of those things are true, mind you. But I don't think people understood, I don't know if dysfunction is the right word, but there was just something off about the team last year. It just didn't work. It didn't mesh for whatever reason. You needed to blow it up. You needed something different. And it's vastly different than it was 12 months ago. Vastly different, which I think is for the good. Again, if they were in a good division, they being Jacksonville, I would have no hope about winning the division. They're arguably in the worst division in football. The AFC South is in the conversation for being the worst division in football. And as a result of that, a team in the midst of a retooling like Jacksonville, to me, can still be successful and maybe even sneak out a division championship.
Where are you on Trevor?
Oh, boy, it's a big year. It's a big year. I mean, look, I hate to make excuses for the guy, but this will be his 6th year in football, dating back to his final year at Clemson, 4th different head coach, 4th different coordinator. It's going to be the 3rd straight year he's had a different center. All right, he has not exactly been dealt a pair of aces when it comes to the hand here in Jacksonville, and that's the organization's fault, let's be honest. So I think finally now he's got an offensive mind, a young offensive mind. I love the idea of Brian Thomas Jr., Travis Hunter, and De'Ami Brown in this offense. I think he has weapons to do it. It's going to come down to that offensive line. If Trevor has time, he can produce. If Trevor gets under pressure, we see what happens. He's had injuries the last 2 years. It's going to come down to the O-line, in my opinion.
You know, the addendum to all that you said about Trevor, which is true, all the newness. Here's the other thing, and I talk about this too, and I sound like I defend him all the time. I really like Trevor. I'm a Trevor fan. But most. I was going to say many or most quarterbacks. The light comes on for them around that 5th year. It just does. Look, there's some guys like Patrick Mahomes or even C.J. Stroud or Burrow who are out of the gate, seem to know the league better than you would have thought. But there's an awful lot of Baker Mayfields and Sam Darnolds, and I could go on and on and on.
Peyton didn't win a playoff game till year 6.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys that it takes a while to learn the league, to understand the speed of the league, to understand the processing of the league, to understand what you're going up against, to have a pretty good idea of what defensive coordinators are going to throw at you, to understand how quickly that edge comes off the end, or the end comes off the edge. It takes a while. I mean, I really believe that. And usually you're 25, 26 years old, you've been around, or older, you've been around it 4 or 5 years. That's when you're a better, regardless of how many offenses you've been in, how many coaches you've had, regardless of all that, because all your points, and they're all good points, Zach, but beyond them, it takes a while before the league makes sense to you. A lot of sports are like that. So I'd be surprised, and I do love the weapons. Brian Thomas Jr., you know what he is. Travis Hunter, we saw him. You saw him enough in college. Who's my guy, JJ? Please jump in there, would you?
De'Ami Brown, legend.
De'Ami Brown's my guy. He's my guy.
It's your guy.
Oh yeah.
I like that.
So yeah. I think De'Ami Brown's gonna be so good, so much so that JJ's gonna come up with me saying that and just replay it.
You're the president of the De'Ami Brown fan club.
I am. But if he's good,
yeah,
and if they protect him, he's got weapons. I'll be interested to see what happens at tight end, because you moved on from the ultimate pass catching tight end, and I don't know that you've got that now. Hopefully, Brenton Strange will be that. But you don't have a guy that, at least as an NFL player, has a reputation of being the pass-catching tight end.
Historically, in Cohen's offense, it's not exactly tight end heavy, which might have been their thinking.
Yeah, that's right.
A little bit. And look, the tight end room is interesting to me too, because if Brenton Strange sprains an ankle tomorrow, then it's Johnny Munt and Hunter Long.
Yeah, and I'll say this about Johnny Munt and Hunter Long. I don't know a thing about them, but I know that Gladstone and Baselli, those guys really targeted them.
Right.
Those aren't two guys that, okay, there was nobody else available, so in May, let's go sign somebody. That's two guys that when free agency started in the second week of March, they had targeted them. They really wanted them. We'll see if that works, by the way. That doesn't mean they're going to be good, but I feel better about two guys that you know what I mean? They really targeted those two guys.
I'm doing my division previews on Hacker After Dark, and we did the NFC North a couple weeks ago. My Minnesota guy said Johnny Munt might literally have been Kevin O'Connell's favorite player.
Is it? Yeah. Okay.
He loved the guy.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
But he just didn't have any playing time for him.
And Grant Udinski then knows him.
Yeah.
You know, but I just think that when I feel better about a free agent that signed the first day or two of free agency than a guy you got later because maybe nobody else was available.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I always say that in baseball, JJ. Though when the hot stove season starts, the guys that signed that first week or two are the players everybody wanted. The guys that signed a week before spring training, nobody wanted them.
Right.
You know, so we had to say, look.
Well, that's changed, actually. Like, we see now more than ever that guys like Harper and Machado, and then they wait now, which is crazy. Like,
okay. It's different with the stars. You're right about that. If it's a mega star, that's different.
Go back to Moneyball with Billy Beane. Christmas time, they were at Scott Hatterberg's house trying to bring him in.
But even that's very new with the stars.
Yeah.
Like, where they waited right to the
I
very last end. But, yeah, it used to be like
you're right.
right away the big names would go.
You're right. But the mid-level guys, you get what you can. By the way, I'm watching PTI. They just showed Tommy Fleetwood's missed putt again. Dude, he walked up there and putted it so fast you thought it was polo.
It was bad. It looks like a putt I would hit.
But he raced up there and hit it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I think sometimes I do this in golf sometimes. If I'm standing over a shot that if it's a par 3 over an island hole, I got to hit it over water. Sometimes I get up there and swing so fast. I get up there and hit it. I don't mean swing fast. I mean get up there and hit it fast because I just want it to be over with.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he looked like. Honest to God, it looked like he just wanted it to be over with.
And it gave Keegan Bradley a read, too.
Yeah.
It kind of helped him.
Wasn't that wild that it turned out that way? Did he literally landed, that his first putt was behind Keegan's mark almost directly? So, anyway, let's say hello to Rick Ballou.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Serviced by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. CoolCatsJacks.com.
The coolest cats in town.
Boy, Rick, we were talking about the Travelers meltdown from Tommy Fleetwood yesterday.
Guy just keeps cashing checks. I mean, it's the one sport you don't have to win.
Yeah, boy, he looked
1.7 million, but he let it get away.
Boy, he looked nervous though, didn't he? Could you tell? I mean, he looked nervous.
No doubt.
He looked nervous.
And now Keegan Bradley has a chance to be a captain and play.
Yeah, he's already a captain. He may be a playing captain now.
In the Ryder Cup, which doesn't make sense. Not for Keegan Bradley.
Yeah.
You know, if it's Tiger Woods or if it's Scotty Scheffler, but
I'll bet he won't at the end.
I think he'll bow out too.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think.
I think it'd be a smart move. I mean, he so easily would set himself up for criticism if he goes out and plays and doesn't perform well at the Ryder Cup.
All right, you're also a very good contract guy and cap guy. What did you think about the deal with Travis Hunter and all the bonus money paid right up?
You know what? I love it. You gave up so much to go get this guy. You gave up future picks. You let everyone know that he was by far the best player in the draft. Don't hold things up with a contract negotiation. This guy's going to be here hopefully for, 10, 12 years playing both sides of the football. So it took a little bit of time, but I admire the Jaguars for getting this deal done, keeping this guy happy. He'll report to camp in about 1 month. I think it was the right move.
I do too. Tonight, what's coming up?
We'll hear from another defensive back. Jonathan Cyprien was in town recently, took in one of the mandatory minicamp days.
Yeah.
And Sip was always a lot of fun during his playing career here. So caught up with him. We're going to have a conversation about that. And I've been gone for a week, so I've got a ton to get after. Fired up to get back on the airwaves.
Great to have you back in town. Rick Ballou, he comes up right now. That'll do it for the program. And then after that, Hacker, what do you got? Real quick.
Tom McManus joins me tonight. We'll have Tommy Mack on, and then Andrew Ivins, the scouting director, 247sports.com, talking Florida and Florida State recruiting.
4 good hours of radio coming up right now, so don't go anywhere. For Hack and JJ, I'm Frank Frangie. So long.